The Galactic Council was gathered in their grand chamber, a large room filled with shimmering lights and holographic displays. Council members from different planets sat in a circle, their eyes focused on the center screen. Today, they were going to discuss a new discovery, an old human warship that had been found drifting in space. As the image of the warship appeared, laughter filled the room. The ship looked battered and worn, with faded colors and rusted metal. A counselor from the planet Zargoth leaned back in his chair, chuckling. "Look at that old thing. They call it a warship? It's nothing but a relic from a forgotten time." Another counselor, a sleek alien with shimmering scales, joined in. "Humans? They think they are still a threat? This ship is as useful as a rock." More laughter erupted, echoing through the chamber. The counselors exchanged jokes about the ship, mocking its outdated design. They believed that humanity was weak and unimportant in the vast universe. Meanwhile, aboard the warship, a small team of human scientists was working hard. They were led by Captain Sarah, a strong and determined leader. She had always believed in the potential of their ship, despite the Council's mockery. As she reviewed the ship's systems, she noticed strange lights flickering on the control panel. "Hey, everyone! Look at this!" Captain Sarah called out, her voice filled with excitement. The scientists turned their attention to her. "The ship is showing signs of life. It's like it's waking up!" One of the scientists, a young engineer named Jake, squinted at the readings. "This can't be right. This ship has been dormant for centuries. How could it be activating now?" Back in the Galactic Council chamber, the laughter continued. A counselor named Vera spoke up, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Maybe the humans think this old junk can still fight. They should just give up and go back to their little planet." The counselors nodded in agreement, their arrogance blinding them to the truth. They believed that humanity was nothing but a fading memory in the galaxy. Little did they know the very ship they mocked was about to prove them wrong. As the human team aboard the warship continued to investigate the strange activity, Captain Sarah felt a spark of hope. What if this ship still has its old power? What if it can defend us? She wondered aloud. Jake grinned, his eyes shining with determination. "We should find out. Let's see if we can activate its systems and get it ready for action." With a sense of purpose, the team worked together, pushing buttons and flipping switches. As they did, the ship began to hum with energy. Lights flickered brighter, and the control panel came alive with information. The warship's weapon systems powered up, and the crew felt a rush of excitement. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council chamber, the laughter began to fade. A counselor named Roran raised a hand, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. "What if the ship is more than it seems? We should keep an eye on it." But Vera waved him off. "What's there to worry about? It's just a bunch of old humans playing with their toys. We have nothing to fear!" Unbeknownst to them, the warship was now fully awake. Captain Sarah looked around at her team, their faces filled with excitement and hope. "Let's show the galaxy what humanity can do. We will not be ridiculed anymore." As the ship's engines roared to life, the vibrations echoed throughout its hull. The team felt a sense of pride and determination. They were ready to prove their worth no matter what the Galactic Council thought. The warship, once seen as a relic, was about to become a powerful force in the galaxy. And outside the council chamber, the universe held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The hum of the warship's engines filled the air as Captain Sarah and her team worked feverishly at the control panel. Lights danced around the bridge, casting a warm glow over the crew's eager faces. The once dormant ship was now alive, and the excitement was palpable. "Look at these readings!" Jake shouted, pointing at the screen. "The energy levels are rising! It's like the ship is coming back to life!" The crew gathered around him, their eyes wide with amazement. "This is incredible," Sarah said, a grin spreading across her face. "We need to see what else this ship can do." With determination, Sarah directed her team. "Let's run diagnostics on the weapon systems. We need to know what we have at our disposal." As they worked, the ship responded to their commands. The lights flickered and a deep, resonant voice echoed through the chamber. "Systems online. Weapons ready for activation." The crew exchanged glances of disbelief and excitement. The ship was not just a relic, it was a powerful weapon waiting to be unleashed. "We need to prepare for anything," Sarah said, her voice steady. "The Galactic Council may not take our awakening lightly." Meanwhile, back in the Galactic Council chamber, the counselors were still laughing, believing humanity was no threat. They continued to mock the old warship, unaware of the storm brewing just beyond their reach. What can they possibly do with that junk? Vera scoffed, tossing her hair back in arrogance. But as the counselors chatted, a sudden alert flashed on their screens. "Incoming transmission from the human warship," a technician called out, panic creeping into his voice. The counselors exchanged puzzled looks. "What do they want?" Roran asked, a hint of worry in his tone. The screen flickered to life, and there stood Captain Sarah, her face determined and strong. "Galactic Council, this is Captain Sarah of the human warship. We are no longer a relic. We are ready to prove our worth." Gasps filled the chamber. The counselors were taken aback by the boldness of her message. "What do you mean?" Vera sneered, trying to mask her fear. "You think an old ship can challenge us?" "We are more than just an old ship," Sarah replied, her voice firm. "We have awakened, and we are prepared to defend our place in the galaxy. Underestimate us at your own peril." Back on the warship, the crew cheered at their captain's bravery. Sarah felt a rush of pride as she looked at her team. "We have to show them what we're capable of. Prepare for full systems activation." The crew jumped into action, activating the warship's weapons and shields. The ship's powerful engines roared to life, and the crew felt the vibrations through their feet. They were ready to face whatever the Council would send their way. As the warship readied itself, the Galactic Council was in chaos. "We can't let them think they are a threat," Vera shouted, her voice rising in panic. "Send a fleet to deal with them, now!" Roran nodded, feeling the weight of the situation. "We cannot allow this to escalate. They must be stopped before they become a real danger." The counselors scrambled to send a fleet of ships to confront the human warship, but deep down, they could feel their confidence waver. The once mock ship was becoming a powerful force, and they had no idea how to deal with it. Meanwhile, Sarah and her crew prepared for battle, adrenaline pumping through their veins. "This is our moment," she said, her eyes shining with determination. "We will not be ridiculed anymore. We will show the galaxy that humanity is a force to be reckoned with." As the warship's engines roared, Sarah took a deep breath. They were ready for whatever lay ahead. The awakening of the warship had begun a new chapter, one where humanity would fight for its place among the stars. The warship hummed with energy as Captain Sarah and her crew prepared for the challenge ahead. News had spread quickly through the Galactic Council. The human warship had awakened, and they were not happy about it. The counselors had decided to send a fleet to confront the ship, believing they could easily crush what they still thought was a relic. In the warship's command center, Sarah paced back and forth, her mind racing. "We need to be ready for anything," she said, looking at her crew. "The council will not take this lightly. They see us as a threat now." Jake, the young engineer, glanced at the screens displaying the approaching fleet. "They're coming in fast! We have to act quickly." He tapped away at the controls, bringing up detailed schematics of their weapons systems. "Let's focus on our strengths," Sarah replied. "We might be outnumbered, but this ship has capabilities they don't know about yet. We need to catch them off guard." The crew nodded, their faces set with determination. They had trained for moments like this, and now it was time to prove themselves. Sarah gathered her team around her. "We will show the Galactic Council that we are not just a relic. We are a powerful force." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council was in chaos. Counselor Vera was pacing angrily, her arrogance replaced with fear. "How dare they challenge us? We must show them their place." Roran, who had been more cautious, tried to calm her. "Let's not rush into this. We need a plan. If we attack blindly, we might lose more than we gain." Vera shook her head. "No! We cannot allow them to think they are equals. Send the fleet in now. Show them what the Council can do." Back on the warship, Sarah's crew was working hard to prepare. The weapons systems were primed, and the ship's shields were at full strength. "We're ready for battle, Captain!" Jake announced, excitement in his voice. "Good," Sarah said, her heart racing. "We will wait for their first move. Then we'll respond with everything we have." As the fleet of Council ships approached, the tension in the air was thick. Each crew member on the warship could feel the weight of what was about to happen. "Stay focused," Sarah reminded them. "We can do this together." The Council ships formed a line, their sleek designs contrasting with the old warship. As they neared, the lead ship transmitted a message. "Human warship, you are outnumbered. Stand down and prepare to be boarded." Sarah smirked at the display. "They think they can intimidate us. Let's show them we won't back down." "Should we respond?" Jake asked, ready at his station. "Not yet," Sarah replied, her eyes fixed on the approaching ships. "Let them make the first move. Suddenly, the Council fleet fired warning shots. Bright beams of energy lit up the space around them. Sarah felt a rush of adrenaline. Now! Activate our shields! The warship's shields flared to life, absorbing the energy blasts. Fire back! Sarah commanded, her voice strong and clear. The crew sprang into action, targeting the lead ship of the Council fleet. They fired a volley of shots, the energy beams streaking through space with precision. The Councilors were shocked. They had underestimated the human warship's capabilities. As the first Council ship took damage, panic spread through the fleet. "They're fighting back!" one of the Councilors shouted. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers." Sarah smiled, her confidence growing. "We have them on the run! Let's keep the pressure on!" The battle raged on, and the once laughing Councilors found themselves in a fight for their lives. The human warship was not just a relic, it was a fierce warrior, ready to defend its place in the galaxy. As the war unfolded, Sarah knew this was only the beginning. They had accepted the challenge, and now they would prove that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. With every shot fired, they were rewriting the story of their existence among the stars. The space around the human warship was alive with energy. Captain Sarah stood at the command console, her heart racing as the battle unfolded before her. The Galactic Council fleet was no longer laughing. They were now desperately trying to defend themselves against the unexpected power of the old warship. "Captain, they're regrouping!" Jake shouted, his fingers flying over the controls. "They're trying to form a defensive line." Sarah narrowed her eyes, studying the Council ships on the screen. "We can't let them recover. Let's hit them hard while they're still shaken." She felt the surge of adrenaline, knowing this was their moment to prove themselves. The crew quickly prepared for the next round of attacks. "Fire the laser cannons!" Sarah commanded, her voice steady. The warship's weapons came to life, bright beams shooting into the darkness of space. The first shots hit the lead Council ship, sending sparks flying. "Direct hit!" Jake cheered, a grin spreading across his face. But the Council fleet was not out of the fight yet. They retaliated with a barrage of energy blasts, striking the warship's shields. The crew felt the impact, the ship vibrating under the force. "Shields at 75%, shouted another crew member. "Keep them up!" Sarah yelled. "We can take the hits, but we need to fight back." The battle raged on, with both sides exchanging fire. The Councilors were shocked by the human ship's strength. They had thought the warship was an easy target, but now it was clear they were facing a formidable opponent. "Captain, one of their ships is flanking us," Jake warned, pointing at the screen. "They're trying to get behind us." "Divert power to the rear shields," Sarah ordered. "And fire at will." The crew worked together, adjusting their strategies on the fly. The warship pivoted, firing at the approaching Council ship just in time. The blast hit its target, and the enemy ship spun out of control, drifting away. "Nice shot," a crew member shouted, their spirits lifted by the small victory. But the Council fleet was regrouping, and they were not giving up easily. More ships closed in on the warship, surrounding it. The Councilors were determined to end this fight quickly. "We need to take them down!" Vera shouted, anger flashing in her eyes. As the enemy ships closed in, Sarah knew they had to change their approach. "Jake, can we use the ship's cloaking device?" she asked, remembering the ancient technology. "I can try, but it's risky," Jake replied, his brow furrowed in concentration. "We haven't tested it since the awakening." "Do it!" Sarah urged. "We need an advantage." With a deep breath, Jake activated the cloaking device. The warship shimmered and then faded from view. The crew watched in awe as the displays showed their ship becoming invisible to the enemy. "Now we can strike from the shadows," Sarah said, a fierce smile on her face. "Prepare to drop the cloak and fire on my command." As they waited, the tension in the room grew. The Council fleet moved closer, searching for their elusive target. Finally, Sarah could see an opening. "Now!" she shouted. The warship reappeared, its weapons blazing. Energy blasts erupted, hitting several Council ships before they could react. "Direct hits! They're losing control!" Jake exclaimed, excitement bubbling in his voice. The Councilors were taken by surprise, scrambling to regain their footing. "Retreat! We must regroup," Vera ordered, but it was too late. The human warship was now fully in control of the battle. As the last Council ship was struck, the remaining fleet began to scatter, fleeing into the depths of space. Cheers erupted aboard the human warship as the crew realized they had won. "Victory!" Sarah shouted, her voice filled with pride. "We did it! We proved ourselves! The crew embraced, celebrating their hard-fought success. But Sarah knew this battle was just the beginning. They had shown the galaxy that humanity was not to be underestimated. As the warship floated in space, Captain Sarah looked out at the stars, ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. This was their moment, and they would continue to fight for their place among the stars. The warship floated triumphantly in the vastness of space. Captain Sarah stood at the command console, her heart still racing from the intense battle. The crew around her was buzzing with excitement, high-fiving and cheering for their victory over the Galactic Council. "Captain, we did it!" Jake exclaimed, his face bright with joy. "We showed them that humanity is not to be taken lightly." Sarah smiled, feeling the pride swell in her chest. "Yes, we did. But this victory means more than just a battle won. It's a chance to rewrite our story." As they celebrated, Sarah knew the warship was not just a tool for destruction, it was a symbol of hope for humanity. They had awakened a powerful relic and used it to prove that they were a force to be reckoned with. Suddenly, the ship's communication system crackled to life. A holographic image of a counselor appeared on the screen. It was Roran, looking anxious. "Captain Sarah, I come to you not as a counselor, but as a representative of those who wish to find peace." The crew fell silent, their excitement turning to curiosity. "What do you mean?" Sarah asked, her voice steady. Roran took a deep breath. "The Galactic Council has realized that underestimating humanity was a grave mistake. We want to discuss terms for peace. We see now that you are not just a relic, but a valuable ally." Sarah exchanged glances with her crew. This was unexpected. "Why should we trust you after what just happened?" she replied, her tone cautious. Roran nodded, understanding her hesitation. "We were blinded by arrogance. We believed we were invincible, but you have shown us the truth. We can accomplish more together than apart. We need to work together for the safety of the galaxy." Sarah thought carefully. This was a chance to forge a new path. "If we agree to talk, we need to ensure our safety. We will not be disarmed or pushed around again." "Agreed," Roran said, relief washing over his face. "I will send a delegation to meet with you. We want to find common ground and build a better future." With that, Roran's image faded, leaving the crew buzzing with a mix of hope and caution. "Captain, this could change everything," Jake said, his excitement returning. "Let's not get ahead of ourselves," Sarah warned. "We need to prepare for this meeting. Trust is not easily given, and we must remain vigilant." As the crew worked to prepare for the upcoming talks, Sarah felt a sense of purpose. They were not just fighting for survival anymore, they were fighting for a chance at peace. This was a new beginning, and she was determined to seize it. Days later, the council delegation arrived at the warship. They were met with a mix of apprehension and curiosity from Sarah and her crew. The counselors looked wary but hopeful, realizing the importance of this moment. "Thank you for meeting with us," Roran said as he stepped forward. "We want to find a way to coexist peacefully. We understand that our past actions were wrong." Sarah nodded, her gaze steady. "If we are to move forward, we need honesty and respect from both sides. We cannot let fear guide our actions anymore." The discussions began, and Sarah felt a sense of hope growing. The counselors shared their thoughts, and the humans spoke about their dreams for the future. They talked about trade, technology sharing, and how they could work together to protect the galaxy from real threats. As the talks continued, both sides began to understand each other better. The tension from before slowly melted away, replaced by a sense of partnership. This was not just about the warship. It was about building a future where humanity and the Galactic Council could thrive together. After hours of discussion, Sarah smiled as she realized they were making progress. "We can do this," she said, her voice filled with conviction. "Together, we can create a new beginning for all of us." As the meeting came to a close, Sarah knew this was just the start. They had faced challenges, fought battles, and emerged stronger. Now, they were ready to embrace a future filled with possibilities. The warship, once seen as a relic, had become a beacon of hope. Humanity was ready to take its place among the stars, not as a threat, but as a partner. The galaxy would remember this moment, the day the warship awakened and changed everything.